Hi and welcome to Payne Friday, and we are doing a variegated sky painting with our back to school month watercolor for August. I will show you the colors here shortly for our variegated sky. We're going to go a little more past the variegated sky. And what I did here was I taped off my watercolor paper using painter's tape because I wanted to have a nice clean edge when we were finished. I'm going to be using a number 2 and a number 8 round paintbrush. Yeah, so thanks for joining me here, and we will get started here shortly. So I have my paper towel ready, and there's my number 8 round brush. First, we always want to get our color palette ready, and let me show you that. So pretty much any 3 colors. So any purple that you have, or any violet. So we're using any purple or any violet. And then we will have any orange. So I'm going to be showing you an orange. So any color orange. And then any type of a yellow. And I'm picking here of a lemony yellow. And like I said, we're going to go down a little bit past the sky, and we're going to have some green grass. So any your favorite green for grass. And then we're going to have some Payne's gray, and I prefer to use Payne's gray over black because I do like to have Payne's gray to mix in to make mountains or shadows or just to darken any other color. So we're going to grab that purple. We're going to start with the purple, and we're going to mix it with some water, but we do want it to be a little bit more concentrated, but mixed with some water. And you want to have that paper towel ready. I always have a paper towel in my left hand. I'm a right-hander. So I'm going to take that number 8 brush, and I'm going to start painting on the top of the sky up there. And we're just going to go part way down the page. Now I will grab a little bit more of the purple mixed with some water. And bring that down. Just going back and forth across the page. Adding a little bit more water. Just making those strokes there. I'm just going the whole way across. So next I'm going to grab my orange. I'm going to let that blend in there with the purple. And bring that down. Grab a little bit more orange. Add a little bit of water to it. It's still kind of concentrated, but that's okay. A little bit more orange with a little bit more water. Bring that down just a little more. Take that up into that purple a little bit. Bring that down. I'm just trying to blend that in there a bit. And I'm just adding a little bit more purple. I wasn't quite happy with how I blended that. I probably could have just left it alone, but I didn't. So now I'm adding the yellow. So I'm bringing that yellow down, blending that in with the orange, which that actually blended very nicely. And I'll keep coming down with that yellow. I was just showing you there how far down I'm going to come. So I'm just wiping off my brush. And I'm going back up there. I did not like that line. It got a little bit too harsh for me up there, so I'm going to try and smooth that out. What I should have done is I should have just left it alone to begin with. I should have just left that flow naturally, and I didn't. So I'm just trying to smooth that in there. So I just added a little bit of water and I just left that blend in there naturally then. So I just want to make sure it goes out to the sides. And there we go. There it just blended in then. So that graded wash there. So from the purples to the orange to the yellow. And I'm pretty happy with how that looks. So now I'm going to grab my green because now I want to have my land area. So I'm just going to go down there with my green, and this is all wet on dry. So I'm just going to take my green down, go all the way down to the bottom, and it's wet on dry and dry brush at the same time. So now I grab some yellow, and I'm actually going to grab the 3 colors that I used up top. So I just added some yellow in there, and I'm just going to bring that line up a little bit up to the horizon up there to where the land meets the horizon. Just kind of make that a little straight there. It doesn't have to be too straight because we are going to put a little bit of a mountain back there. I just want to just straighten that out a little bit just to define that area. All right, so smooth that in, and then I'm going to grab some purple. Just grab a touch of purple, and then I'm going to smooth that in. I'm just going to add some water, smooth that over a little bit, and then I'll grab some, at some point I'll grab some of that orange. And introduce that into the grassy area, and then we'll smooth that in with water. Now I won't get too crazy with it, but I'm just kind of incorporating it in. I just grab some water and then just to incorporate it. That's all. Not do a whole lot in there. So then we're just going to let that dry a little bit. And while that grassy area is drying, the sky pretty much there at the yellow has dried. So now what I'm doing is I'm mixing up my Payne's Gray. And I'm switching over to the number 2 round brush. So I'm going to mix up the Payne's Gray. I'm feeling that is dry. Mixing up the Payne's Gray, but I'm also mixing that Payne's Gray into my green, but it's going to mostly be Payne's Gray, and it's going to be pretty dark. So it's going to be pretty concentrated. So I'm just getting a good, mixing that up pretty well from my pan into my, my palette and getting it nice and dark. And I'm just going to paint in a nice little mountain going the whole way across the back of my landscape there. And as soon as I get that mixed, and here we go. So just double checking that it's dry. And I'm just going to go across the top. And we'll just paint that in. So while I'm doing that, I'll just quickly go over. Be sure to if you're here from the Facebook group for Paint It Friday, you're already there at Watercolor Tutorials and Inspiration. But if you're watching this straight from YouTube, join my Facebook group, Watercolor Tutorials and Inspiration. Every other Friday, we do or twice a month, we do Paint It Friday. And this month's theme for our Facebook is back to school watercolor, where we are learning all about going back to the basics with watercolor, which is pretty much our theme for my email. If you are on my email list, it is we are on week. Let me just look here. What week are we on? We are on week 3, Back to School Basics. Right now we are on, because I am filming this on the week of August, brush handling. So if you aren't on my email group, I encourage you to grab one of my freebies below and get on my email group. I do a once a week newsletter. I don't bombard you with emails. I do an email newsletter once a week and give you some tips on watercolors. And I also I'll give you some other things as well. We have a freebie of the month and all kinds of fun things like that. So yeah. So anyway, back to our paint here. I'm just doing a mountain range in the back. It's done mainly in Payne's gray with a little bit of the green mixed in. And you can see in the foreground there how the grassy area, or whatever you want to call that there, how that is drying. You can see those colors incorporated in there. The greens, it's not very dark. I did not want it to be very dark. But you can see how just the way it was painted, where it's just not a flat green. There is, there's some depth and some dimension, some character to it. Okay, so now while that's drying, now I'm going to go in and I'm going to add a little bit more green to the Payne's gray, and I'm going to paint some trees. And these are just pretty much going to be some evergreen trees. Now, while I'm painting these, my hand will be in the way, and I will explain to you the process of how I'm going to do it. Now, you're going to see, I'm going to show you what this color is going to be. It's going to be a very, very dark green. I'm just basically taking the green you see there and the Payne's gray and just making a very, very dark version of that green. So what I'll be doing is I'm starting from the bottom, and I'm pretty much making like a triangle shape, but I'm doing it with just like dots and dashes of like a triangle shape, starting with a wide base and just working my way up to a pointy top. So you'll see me here in a second. Now, like I said, my hand is in the way, but when it's finished, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Very simple to make, not hard to do. So, and I apologize that you can't see me doing it. I only have this one way of filming overhead, and unfortunately, if it's something that I'm doing like this, I don't right now have the capability of showing you exactly how I'm doing this, but I can explain it to you verbally. But once I have the trees made, I'm doing 2 trees there at the moment, but it's very simple. Like I said, I'm starting at the base and just working my way up to the top, and I'm just doing just dots and dashes, and then I'm putting a little shadow coming out the side. You can see how my hand's going back and forth, dots and dots and dashes, dots and dashes, because they're not very large trees. And it's just working its way up to a point. It's just like a triangle. But I'm just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until I get to the top. And then I put a little shadow there. And I have the shadow coming, kind of angling off to the left, kind of angled, like, let's just say, if north is, straight north, or I should say west, west, a little bit coming towards the south a little bit, because to me, the sun is going down off of the picture. So it's bringing that shadow over towards that way, over towards the west. So I'm just making those little trees there. And that's pretty much it. That is the extent of this tutorial. So now I'm just putting a little bit more kind of little lines over there at the base of the mountains. With the leftover paint that I had on my brush there. I'm not going to add too much more to this because right now I'm feeling that less is more for this painting. And the one last thing that I always do whenever I have a sky in my painting is I always put birds in the sky, and I like to work in odd numbers, which once again, I have 4 trees there. I really surprised myself that I don't have 5 trees or 7 trees, that I have 4 trees, but that's okay. I'm not mad about it. I will put 3 birds in the sky. And that's okay. Which, if I have 3 birds in the sky, 4, 5, 6, 7, that still makes an odd number. So that's okay. That'll make an odd number of objects on my paper. So I'm going to mix up some of my Payne's gray, and I'll put 3 birds in the sky. After I start peeling off my tape, I'm like, wait, you need your birds. Where's your birds? Get those birds in the sky. And my birds are just like a V, with the one side has a longer side than the other. And there we go. So now when it comes to peeling off your tape, you always want to peel away from your painting, and you want to peel slowly. So you peel away from your paper and you want to peel slowly. You don't want to rip it off like a Band-Aid. You want to peel it slowly. And look at those nice clean edges. I love a nice clean edge. Nice clean edges. So there is our gradient sky with the 3 colors. For our back to school, there's the finished picture. And that's our gradient technique. Oh, and always sign your painting. Your painting is not done until you put your signature on it. So whenever somebody says, hey, what else do I need to add to my painting? Your signature. There you go. All right. Hey, thanks for watching. Stay colorful, stay creative, and have fun. All right. Bye-bye.